Hello, everybody. This is the 13th pitch event of GGW Sharks. And here today with me, you can see new sharks we recently invited. And I'm so excited that you guys are keeping joining these events, trying to raise capital for your companies from around the world. And you know what? The numbers of these events are blowing my mind because for the past 13 events, including this one, we have over 15, even over 16,000 participants, 16,000 founders participated either pitching or listening to this event. This is crazy. I'm so grateful for your support. And because we are fully sponsoring this event, I am super grateful for anyone who is spreading the word about Global World on social media. This is how we can keep this event free and give you a chance to meet credible investors and give you a chance to raise capital from them. Now, before I let the investors to present themselves, I'll show you a few slides about the event and what is Global World. Right, so Global World is digital Silicon Valley. We don't believe in borders. We believe that any founder around the world should have equal opportunities as people in Silicon Valley. So we are a US-based company, we are based in Silicon Valley, but we operate globally. And we have a platform and an app to connect you with investors, to give you a network of founders and investors, and give you the tools to fundraise from investors. Now, we recently launched a new version of our platform, and this is the app where you can match with investors. And match means you can connect with the right investors by your precise criteria, so you would be talking to the right ones who are looking for you. And if you already registered on the app, which is app.goglobal.world, you get a chance to pitch among the first, because we verify you, we can see that you're a legit founder, and we want to put you in front of investors first. Make sure to go and register today during the event or after the event to get the chance to pitch. In here, you get your startup profile, you see the dashboard of people who have seen your startup and disliked you, so you can have some data to actually fix something if something goes wrong, and we make it actionable. So if you have a match with an investor on our app, it means that you can speak with this investor. Investor is interested, and this is only way we save time for investors, save time for founders, connecting the right people with the right people to get a deal done. So just a quick snapshot of investors we have. We have primarily US investors, but actually around the world. It's very serious venture investors that were pre-verified and on our put on our platform. We have a network of over 5,000 investors. On our platform, of course, we have less, but this is in direct reach. We have a lot of credible folks that might become your investors. But investors is not the only thing you need, guys. Sometimes you're not ready for investors, and we have advisors who can see your project from all angles, give you the right advice so you can get prepared before you meet the investors. Now, if you go through our programs, and one of our programs is Pitch to Global Investors, you may become an alumni, and half of these companies raised from 500 to 10 million already now. Half of them didn't, because it's not on our shoulders, it's on your shoulders. It's putting you in front of the right network. Now, of course, it's not easy to raise capital right away. And to help you with your runway, we have prepared a list of perks, signed direct contracts with those companies to give you either free access or huge discounts on their services. Of the services you need to use anyway of most of those companies, but why would you pay a public price? And on top of that, my company have a separate team who works on specific administrative services for startups. We incorporate companies in Delaware and across the United States. We do tax filing, accounting, and so much more. Let us know if you need any help. My team will take care of this. And finally, before I introduce the event, you can join our closed Slack channel only for verified investors and founders. Investors have a separate channel only for investors, but also they join the general Slack as well. No one else will be in unless they're verified. So we don't go numbers, we go quality. And if you want to be on our Slack, please register in the app. We'll verify you. Maybe we'll even interview you, and then we will add you to our Slack channel. And Of course, you can email us with more questions to be added to the Slack channel. Take a screenshot of this page, or just reach us out. We'll see if you be the fit for our Slack channel. Okay, so GGW Sharks, the 13th event. I'm so excited and grateful for everything that's happening here, because I mean, we have done a great job on my team, have done a great job, but you guys are the ones who making it happen. Thank you for helping us spreading the word and pitching, challenging yourself. It's not easy, I know, and pitching without slides even harder. So who are the investors today? We have actually 4 investors. We have Duránd F, Eugene Malobrodsky, a new shark, Sage, and myself. And also we have Dan. And I will let the investors to introduce themselves right after I finish the slides, and you'll know more about their investment strategy, their criteria, and so on. Now, the rules. This is the important part of this event. If we follow the rules, this event will be great and everyone will most probably succeed. So to achieve the best results of this event, please keep yourself muted all the time. Super important. I emphasize on this, and this is the first thing I always say. Raise your hand to pitch. You get 2 minutes elevator pitch plus questions, no slides. It's just you and the camera. Please turn on your cameras when you speak and put your real names so people can recognize you, and we will find you if investors would like to connect with you, we know your name. This event is only for new startups with sales, intellectual property, and scalable business model. If you pitched before, we can give you a chance to pitch, but you would need to explain what really has changed, and then you will probably be able to pitch. Now, respect the time. It's a 2 hours event maximum, so we will have a hard stop because investors have to jump off, and we will probably finish 10-15 minutes before to let investors close. So be ready for that, and don't get upset if you don't get a chance to pitch, because we will let you pitch among the first on the next event. We'll make sure. Just email us at info@goglobal.world, and we'll put you in front before others on the next event. And now, those who are on GGW app already, shoot me a message in Zoom, and I'll make sure that you pitch among the first 2. Okay, and don't forget, this is a networking event. So that means you can exchange contacts, help out each other. Please don't sell anything to each other in here. This is where one founder helps the other founder. And remember, we have investors in the chat as well. It's not only investors you see on the stage, but also in the chat. And this might be another opportunity for you to stay throughout the event to get connected with them. If you pitched, don't go. Stay till the end of the event. It's important that you are supporting each other. And finally, it's ideal 2-minute elevator pitch would look like this. Keep it as a story. Get to the point what you do and why are you unique. Of course, mention some traction, or it's important what investors want to hear. And if you pitched before, tell us what significantly has changed since your last pitch. And finally, by helping other founders, you help your own startup. So create your network and create your reputation with this network. All right, so that's it on my end, and this is the time when we meet our sharks. And let's start from Duránd and go one by one to introduce every investor. Duránd, 30 seconds.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Duránd Davis of M&D Ventures. The M is for Maya, my wife, and the D is for Duránd. We are at hatch stage all the way to post-IPO stage. We pretty much invest at all stages. And the reason why we have the ability to do so, one, we started out the fund with investing our own money from success we had as entrepreneurs. We're actually still active tech entrepreneurs while we're running a fund. So we're pretty much stage agnostic. We call the hatch stage is actually the earliest early stage on when your idea can be on a napkin. If we can believe in the founder, because we were also operators, we can help that founder get that idea from the napkin to a pre-product prototype, and then a prototype to product market fit, then post-product market fit. So we like to play in at the earliest early stage, in addition to dealing with founders that may only need a small lift. My wife is here in the chat. I've been a part of this since the beginning. So I'm super excited to see some of the new faces and the progression that the entrepreneurs have had. I made some investments in some entrepreneurs from the GGW Sharks. So I appreciate Danil and this community here. I do want to hear you guys put your format in a story today. And please really understand your numbers. That's one of the main things that I've seen has been a problem with the entrepreneurs moving forward. But other than that, it takes a lot of guts to be an entrepreneur. So I'm excited about today. Thanks.
Great, thank you. And one other thing I wanted to emphasize that here you will be trying to raise capital. Within 2 minutes, it's not possible to get a check from investor, unlikely, but you can catch their attention and get a meeting with them. So put all your efforts to convince the investors to get a meeting with them. If they confirm, I will connect you by email, and you can have endless communication with them as much as they allow you to. All right? Okay, so Eugene, your turn. We cannot hear you, your mic is off.
Yep, I'm good now. Hi, everyone. I'm Eugene Malobrodsky, a former founder of 2 startups. One of them that a lot of people know about is Anchortree and a product called Hotspot Shield. After it was sold in 2018, I joined a fund called One Way Ventures, which is an amazing fund focusing specifically in investing in exceptional immigrant founders that are doing a new journey and moving to US or Canada and building other amazing companies. There's a lot of sacrifices that these founders do by moving here, family, friends, and a lot of challenges. And we're trying to help them to build their next unicorn. And we're specifically focused on seed stage, and we write checks between 500K and 1.5 million. And I would love to hear what you guys are doing. Best of luck to all of you.
All right, fantastic. Great to have you. And exciting about hearing that you are taking to unicorn level. All right. So we had 2 sharks, one from Silicon Valley, the other one from South California, and now Austin, Texas. Dan, your turn.
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Dan Ellis. I will put my LinkedIn information into the chat. Like many of you, I was a founder, so I have been on the table and in the seat where you are today. I founded a company in Silicon Valley in 2013 called Rally Team, which was a novel human resources technology platform. And during that process, we went through the entire Silicon Valley meat grinder, from bootstrapping our company to profitability, to raising funds from 2 tier 1 institutional investors. That company was subsequently sold in 2018 to Workday. And since that time, I've been an active angel investor, having invested in 50 companies. I also represent the interests of a couple of family offices. And we invest basically in seed stage companies, so not pre-seed. We like founders with a product that is in market. You've demonstrated the ability to build, to be able to ship a product, and to have some degree of meaningful traction. So if that's you, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing all of the pitches today, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and great to have you today. Dan told me that he will have to excuse himself a little early before the event ends. Please stay as long as you can, Dan, but of course we know that, and so thank you for being with us. And Sage, great to have you again with us. Tell us about yourself, your investment strategy. Yeah, so exciting to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here again. So I think last time I was sort of short on myself. I'll give a little bit of background. I used to work at a startup in Boston, and it did infrastructure tech, so ARM. It was called Turbonomic. It was purchased by IBM for $2 billion, which is the largest strategic acquisition in Boston ever. Strategic acquisition, not just IPO or something like that, because those numbers get bigger. I helped with the acquisition, and then afterwards had an opportunity to go work at Venture Guides. More importantly, Venture Guides is an early stage firm. So we do incubation to seed and Series A. It's a team of both operators and investors. So everyone has had the experience of raising money before, and everyone has had experience investing. We really focus on enterprise technology and we've been heavily involved in a lot of companies that you might recognize, things like LinkedIn, DocuSign, Dynatrace. We hatched Sysdig. Actually, the firm hatched Turbonomic, so you can see how I got in here, and a bunch of others that like Cloudistic, Stackdriver, all of those. So I'm excited to hear about how your idea is different, what your early traction is, and then a little bit about go-to-market and how you're thinking about your competition. So.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Excited to have you all in here. So if you want to get a meeting with these investors, you need to convince them that within 2 minutes that you are the ones they need to have a separate meeting, discuss with you investment. Now, now we are ready to start, but the next person would be Alex Petrovich. Alex, are you here?
Yeah. Hi.
You got 2 minutes. Please go for it.
Okay. Hey, I'm Alex. I'm the co-founder of Plant.io. We help creative teams to produce ads 2 times faster and launch ad campaigns more effectively. Designers and marketeers from creative studios and agencies in SMB segment have common problems in their production pipelines. There are only a few of them. It's task setting, task management, creative automation on scale, and expert in publishing problem. With those problems, they spend up to 700 hours a year on an efficiency for one person, which in turn is equivalent to $20,000 for one person. So the solution for this already exists. It's called creative management platforms. But most of those who use CMPs are large companies, especially in enterprise segment. And there are a few of them, like in SMB, due to its complexity and high pricing, as I said before. So we are making affordable and user-friendly CMP with flexible pricing for small, medium creative studios and agencies, which will be at least 2 times cheaper than current solutions in the market. The secret sauce is that our users will pay for only features and modules that they will really use. About market, there are 420,000 creative studios and agencies in the world, but most of them are still not using CMPs in their pipelines. So we're here to change it, and we're aiming to get 8% of the market, which is equivalent to $117 million. We are using flexible subscription module that starts from $25 per month for one user. We have some traction. We've launched an MVP a year ago and already earned $200,000 with an average MRR around 13,000 by fixing only one problem. It's binary size on scale problem. By the way, it's only 5 clients. But okay, about our team, a little bit about my background. I've been working as a motion graphic designer for more than 10 years, and already 5 years ago, I dived into the startup industry and gained experience as a product manager and owner. I've launched 2 startups, and one of which we transformed into a Plant.io when we met with my co-founder, Mitchell. By the way, he's a great expert in ad tech and martech. He launched and succeeded his own DSP platform called Hybrid. So our team covers all key areas in sales and marketing and tech to scale fast. But our company is incorporated in Delaware, and currently we're raising. We have asked for $500,000 safe under 5 million post money valuation. 50% would go to tech development, another 50% would go to marketing, customer support, and other expenses to get faster to a product market fit. Thank you.
All right. Good pitch. So, dear Sharks, would you have any questions?
Well, first of all, can I just make a general comment? That was like a very good pitch. Like that is exactly all of the content that you should be sharing during this very compressed 2-minute time. Like we know who you are, what your product is, what your traction is, and what your ask is. So just as a general follow-on for anyone else that's pitching, this is a good model. I think like overall great pitch. I think it's an interesting space that is probably crowded. And I think that I would sort of like to know a little bit more about what distinguishes you from the competition, what makes you special in what would otherwise be a very crowded market.
What's very special? So especially we're not doing something new. Like we found several insights on the market of Indonesia, and because it's like quite young market and it's growing, and there's very low competition. Where well our main our main goal is like to be there, like to be there on the and get the top three, to be in the top three. Especially so, as I said before, also we're planning to create the CMP, which will be like 2 times cheaper because of its like flexible pricing. Because for now, if you dive into the any kind of CMP, the check starts from $3,000, and we decided to divide it because to make it affordable for small teams and for small creative studios, which are a lot of on Indonesian market also. This is like, I don't know.
Great. I think it's great that you are focused on a particular market. Definitely try to weave that into your pitch next time. But otherwise, great.
Thank you so much.
How technically challenging is it to break up the solution into different modular pieces? Like I don't normally love being distinct on just being cheaper than everyone else, because then we're going to be a race to the bottom. But if you figured out something technically that allows you to break it into pieces as you were describing, or do something special, that would be a lot more interesting.
Yeah. I got this insight from the interview that I made in market, because people said like we're buying the full functionality, but we are not using it, and it would be great to have like divide it in small pieces, as you said, like, and get the features that we will really use, and not to use those features that we don't need. That's why we also do such kind of a solution.
This is Duránd here. So can you explain to me exactly what's the user roadmap? I want to understand exactly who is your customer. How does your platform work from start to end? Am I a firm where my marketing team, they're having issues, so they need some different type of client and interface to communicate with their customers? Is this something that we can also utilize internally inside of the organization? In the most simple format, can you explain exactly from step 1 to step 3, maybe perhaps, exactly how the product works and who is it for?
Okay, Duránd, I'll try to. This product is for small marketing teams, especially, for example, if you have I don't know, five people in the team, like three designers, one marketeer, and one media buyer, for example. And some of them like generating the idea, like designers going to the module of banner creation. So they create their banner. After that, you need to spread the master banner to the ad platforms. So here's the module for making the banner resizes. After that, you create the banner resizes. You also can export the video. And after that, you have the storage, and you can connect.
So you SaaS platform.
Multitask platform.
Do you have an interface that I'm utilizing? So it's a SaaS platform.
Yeah, SaaS platform, sure.
Okay. All right. So you built a SaaS platform to help marketers better manage their advertising pipeline.
Yeah, to get faster to the market.
Okay, yeah, because that helps me understand. Yeah, they helps you. I'm not your team member, so if you're talking to me, I know you guys. You have to tell it to me as if it's a story. Help me understand. If I sell refrigerators, I'm going to talk to you about the elements inside the refrigerators that make it work in the proprietary elements. I'm say, hey, we built a box that you put your food in. You guys know it as a refrigerator. So immediately my brain is working to actually understand what you have. Okay, so explain to me exactly your revenue model. Well, first your business model and how you get to revenue, and what are those revenue streams?
So for now we have, because as I said before, I didn't mention that, but we have the revenue stream on the full service module. So currently we haven't opened up our platform to users as a self-service, and we have the team of designers, and they work in the closed beta. and we sell, as I said, we sell the banner resizes on scale. For we have 5 big clients who need to generate at least like 2,000 or 3,000 banner resizes each month, and we like sell it for one piece, like.
Please try to have your answers concise, because
sorry. Yeah, it's for now it's like an agency module, and we closed our service for everybody, but we plan to release it on May in this year, and
okay.
Last
question: how do you plan to distribute the $500,000? What's the goal with the capital?
Yeah, especially we're planning to spend it to finalize the features. There are like features for finalize the features. I will not say the details, and spend it on marketing and to attract more people in sales team. And very important, one more is very important thing is the onboarding process. So we spend it to customer support team.
Got it. So Danil, I'm interested in learning more about this. I didn't quite understand. I couldn't extrapolate from his presentation. I don't know if they're partially a Canva, whereby they're allowing designers to get better templates to emphasize on the design. And then they're a platform where it can connect with Facebook's advertising platform or Google advertising platform. This stuff comes out of the box. So he didn't really do a good job at explaining that. And so I'm interested in learning more about it. I don't know where I am as far as an investment, because I don't really know where you sit in the ecosystem. I know you built something, but I don't know where you sit in the ecosystem. So I'd love to talk to him more about this.
All right, fantastic. So 2 sharks are out, 1 shark is in. So we have the first meeting. Congratulations. And what about Eugene?
First of all, this extremely competitive market. There are multiple companies that are doing that. Obviously, the big question is how are you going to differentiate yourself against them? And price is not one of them. Like, is it going to be a platform that will automatically launch and provide analytics onto different advertising platforms that are not standard like Google or Facebook? Or like, what are the ways that you're going to tackle the competition where you provide an additional service, which is where currently you're basically an agency at this time, because your product is not really ready for the customers?
Yeah, our product is not ready because currently we're just bootstrapping and trying to live. And so the answer to your question, our main goal is to connect with the ad platforms, not such like Facebook or Google. It's like it's easy. Our main goal is to connect with the programmatic platforms on specific markets, like Indonesian market. There are a lot of DSP platforms that are very popular in Indonesia. Connect them, and because people already uses them, to make this integration seamless for small creative teams, because they also want to work in this DSP platforms, but they cannot do it, like, and it's hard process. This is the main, I think, this is the main our advantage.
I mean, you can't build a big business on Indonesian market. That's for sure.
Right? Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So how are you going to expand to other markets?
I also thought about United States market, but as you said before, there's a huge competition, and I already made 27 interviews with the guys from United States, and they said like, okay, we have this problem. But the main challenge for us is to swap the software that we are using for now, because they were using it for years, and there should be one guy who said, okay, we will swap it in one day. And this is the, like, I think it's onboarding challenge, and find the guy who will accept this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think let's, in terms of business model, think about diving into that a little bit, right? The problem right now is people can't swap, but there's also features offered on different platforms that they would love to have if they could swap.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe the fact that you have sort of a modular experience or offering, I wonder if you could almost play more of a platform model, where you have your own features that you offer, but you also create a really robust API for other new startups that are building a specific feature to add to yours, so that the customer has to stay on your platform. But they can get all these other features, and then it's also not your responsibility to build them all yourself, right?
Yeah.
And there might be a play there, particularly as you target a US market, where if you start getting people to build on top of you, then you become stickier, right?
Yeah.
But that requires a huge investment on a community and of developers and all that stuff. It's actually might be easier to create a product that will integrate into other with
So that's my point. Yeah,
Okay.
create a really robust API and then let other people that aren't in your company build the other features on top. And then you become stickier as you have better and newer features, and other people will continue to build on you because they won't run into the problem you're facing, where it's a competitive market and it's hard to get traction. They can just build on top of what you've already got.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you about the
We gotta move on. We have plenty of people presenting.
Okay,
So
sorry. Thank you so much.
But really quick, maybe focus on APAC region overall.
Okay, very
Because
well.
it is a huge market if you take the whole APAC.
Okay, thank you, Eugene.
yeah, and dear investors, if you are not planning to take a meeting, just say I'm out. That's it. As usually it's happening. Or like tell me that you have a meeting, and then I'll put a note. Thank you so much, and we move forward.
Thank you, Danil.
Absolutely, thank you. Ilya Polotsky, are you back with your internet? Should we?
Yep. I'm back. Sorry, guys. I'm in Turkey and my internet is terrible. So I hope now it works. So, hi, I'm Ilya. I'm a mathematical and computer science programmer and serial entrepreneur. And I'm passionate about making your investment protected. You know that 85% of developers still code when they change jobs. So we offer a service to automate code-based copyright protection using blockchain technology. And it's important for shareholders, for C-level management and other stakeholders. You know that copyright registration takes from 1 to 4 months, and our service does it instantly. Once being connected to any development process, our service protects code base, storing evidence in popular blockchains. And we provide legal certificates in case of court disputes. About advantages, we have completely automated system. Our AI triggers a deposition process whenever any significant event in development happens. And you know that nobody wants to show their code, so even for registration. So we found a solution from this. On the one hand, we could provide and protect our customers' copyright, and at the same time, not to disclose it publicly. What about market? Market tends to grow, especially now because of bots and AI generating code. So it needs fast, simple, and typical solution. It's like $7 billion, and we are about to take them from attorneys and lawyers. We are growing. We have growing base of pre-sign-ups and letters of intent, and we are raising. Having one profile angel investment in blockchain sphere, we are about to assemble our current round in next future. So join us. We are changing a way of copyright protection, and software protection is only the beginning. Our next goals are scientific researches and biotech.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Sharks, who wants to meet this founder?
Yeah.
Well, so my first question would be around customers. Do you have customers using this yet?
We have one part of customers who wrote letters of intent with us and a base of pre-sign-ups. And we are now testing our MVP and going to onboard them in next weeks, I think, next week.
So what I didn't mention in the beginning of my intro, I'm actually a software engineer. So let me understand this correctly. Are you suggesting that if I'm coding inside of Xcode, if I'm programming with Swift inside of Xcode, you have a way for, if I want to share a portion of that code base with one of my engineers that may be in a different state or a different country, are you saying that you can protect the code base whereby they won't be able to extrapolate any code and start a new project? Because the reality of it is they can have my core code base, start a new project inside of Swift, and just copy the code over to the new project. How can you really protect?
Yeah, this is a problem. And we protect the same time when they develop something for you. For example, you have a developer in your company and he wrote you some kind of code, some kind of functions. And at the same time he wrote it, our program, our service will automatically create proofs in blockchains, and that proofs contains information about your company, your investors, developer's name. So the point is that we have a kind of solution.
Wait a minute, 1 second. Save the buzzword blockchain, because what you're suggesting is that you're going to be able to embed a piece of software in my software whereby you can manage and precisely scan my software to know when someone's actually coding. First, we have to give you permission to actually do that. But what's the technology that you're utilizing that's connected with the Xcode interface that's allowing your technology to scan through my code to know when these actions are being committed? Just the technology itself.
Okay, the point is that we don't have access to your code. We have a hash system. We have a hash system. And that hash system, each time a significant event in your code happens, saves and generates the certificates.
Yeah, but there's a solution for that already. You just don't give one developer all of the code. The idea is that when you're building out this code base, you say, hey, this is the front end for the typography and the particular buttons. It's going to go to these 3 engineers. This is the technology that allow for gestures and animations and transmission. It's going to go to this particular engineer. And once they're finished with their portion of the project, they give it back to the main individual, and we put this actual code together. And the other issue that I can see is the code deprecation. Like, how do you actually measure when there's some code deprecation process? I'm not quite understanding. I'm very excited about it if you actually pulled this off, but I don't understand how this exists.
I'm a little bit sorry because I didn't understand quite syntaxes because you were too fast for me. Sorry for my English. The point is that we have the point of our platform is that we have a solution to fix the date in blockchain of some code, of your code written with your developers. And if your developers with some code, maybe he could do some kind of typos or some kind of additional letters. It doesn't matter because we have a lot of consultations with lawyers. And the point is that there are no typical solution for IT expert in law court to get a trusted, verified timestamp solution proof. And we created a platform for that. And
so do you think that your customer is possibly going to be some company that utilizes an offshore team? You know, a lot of people are hiring people on Fiverr, Upwork to build out platforms for them. And there's a big issue in that process.
Actually, I can give you a profile of our customer. It's a real profile. It is a company which provides mathematical functions written in some language, in programming language, and they use such functions for trading, and they sell the API using such functions. And they got an issue that some other guys has stolen the code, the very important part of mathematical part, and they didn't have any proofs that they were the first who did it. And we give them the opportunity to have a proof that it is proof that works in United States and European jurisdictions. And having such a proof, they could have succeed in law court, but they didn't.
Yeah, so I want to see this. Definitely, that's it for me, because if you figure this out, then this is probably $1 trillion idea. I really have to see this. Like, so much so, I probably moved some meetings to actually take a call with you to do a presentation, because I just have to see it. That's it for me, Danil.
All right, so we got one shark getting a meeting with Ilya. What about other sharks?
so your other so your customers, if I take code out, let's say, and I'm not putting it on a blockchain, I'm basically developing another product, how is it going to get verified ever?
Without blockchain, it is a very common situation when people use Git repositories or some kind of screenshots or some technical tasks, and they bring everything they have to IT expert in low code. And after that, IT expert decides who was the first who has written this part of functional, for example, a class or something kind of code. But all of these arguments are not 100% truly, and it could be faked. Git could be faked. GitHub, it's not a solution, it's a centralized solution, and the history in GitHub and in your Git repository could be rewritten. And this is a problem. And we found a way how to be 100% sure that that day, that company with that developer created this class or this mathematical function, and they have registered their copyright for that. And they could be feel themselves like safe.
And what's the revenue model on this product?
Our revenue model, we have a SaaS product. We have a subscription. It starts from $50 per month for small startups. Then we have $200 for big companies. It's like more than 5 repositories per company. And also we have API. We have one customer in Armenia. It is a big company, and they asked us to use our technology and our API to protect not just only the code, but also the content that was created by their customers. And they wanted to use an API. So we have a big space to grow in a lot of directions. And but as for me, more interesting and more powerful argument for our platform is that we can use it in scientific researches, working with universities, with scientists. They're also writing code. And
Yeah,
okay.
please.
I see. Yeah.
Sorry. Any more questions?
By the way, one comment in the beginning, you're like, you want to protect our investments, and the product you're building is, or you're passionate about protecting our investments. You should be passionate about your product, not about protecting our.
I definitely do. I definitely passionate about my product.
You basically don't say that you're trying to protect our investments.
Yeah,
okay.
Eugene, I thought he was building a stock market product. Yeah, when he said, we're excited then. Say, oh,
yeah.
So that's good. That's good advice. But yeah, I would love to see this. If it's what you're saying, it's pretty impressive.
Okay, so what about Dan and Ellis? Are you guys in and out?
Yeah, my comments were, Ilya, I'd kind of recommend, just based on the amount of questions and clarifications that were needed around your product, that I would do a different setup in your pitch. And I would just immediately start with an example. So just, even if it's just a hypothetical example about a company and they had a developer and they wrote some code, and then he left and he went to a competitor, and all of a sudden a clone of their exact code base popped up over there, but they didn't have any recourse because they didn't have this proof positive a way of verifying it. And I would just like lead into that, make it a very definitive example, and then say how your solution could have come in between that to successfully like repatriate the code, and make a settlement go in their direction. I kind of agree with Duránd. It does sort of sound like black magic. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how the inner workings of this work. Like, I don't understand how you necessarily hash things and then compare that to like another hash or another set of code, when I can like change an X to a Y in the code, and is that enough to throw the system off for verification? So just sort of understanding the intricacies would be what I would dive into. To me, it's just not an area that I'm interested in. So for that reason, I would be out for this.
Fantastic.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so it seems like we're ready to move on. Ilya, great presentation, great answers, and I love you challenge yourself. So good job, keep working on it. Seems like you're not onto something. Maybe it's really at $1 trillion idea, and we'll see you among the great founders. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Right, and stay here till the end if you can, and we're moving to the next person. And the next person would be Lawrence. Lawrence just texted me, he registered in our app. And so as I promised, he would be allowed to pitch among the first. Lawrence, are you here?
Yeah. Hey, hey guys.
You got 2 minutes.
Awesome. Great. Great to be here. My name is Lawrence, and I'm building Thea, next-gen multi-chain, all-in-one community platform built for NFT communities. NFTs are being embedded across culture and commerce. We've moved from a niche art collectible item into being embedded across sports, brands, gaming, media, fashion, and music. Simply, we're reaching a tipping point in adoption. However, the problem that we're trying to solve is the fact that the communications infrastructure of Web3 is broken. It's painful. It takes 15 clicks to go from NFT purchase to chat in a token gated Discord. It's complex. Discord and the variety of Web3 tools out there that these communities use are not fit for mainstream adoption. It's insecure. In 1 month in 2022, hackers stole $22 million from users in NFT community Discord servers, and it's prohibitively expensive. Teams spend on average $100,000 a year to manage their community. The team behind Thea are a bunch of community-obsessed product builders. We come from Columbia, Dartmouth, LSE, and have worked at tech and finance. We've experienced this problem ourselves being in these NFT communities and have been the painful victims of hacks. So that's why we built Thea. Thea is a premium social platform for NFT communities built for mass adoption. We bridge Web 2 and Web 3, and we implement best-in-class security. For members, we provide an instant, seamless onboarding process. The moment you connect your wallet, we understand what NFTs you have and connect you to the communities that correspond to those NFTs. We're an all-in-one platform with group chats, DMs, posts, voice calls, events, voting, and more. And we aggregate all the content from Twitter and Discord that correspond to your communities, as well as allow for native content posting.
All right.
For creators, we provide a command center, an all-in-one platform for you to really grow, understand your community. We allow you to partner with other communities, providing recommendations for what communities you should be partnering with. We also provide a native CRM that allows you to understand your members, mixing on-chain and off-chain data.
Please wrap it up.
In terms of our traction, we've launched our private beta last week. We went from design to launch in 3 months. We had 1,000+ signups on our first day, and we've a lineup of high-profile partnerships with Immutable X, a leading layer 2, Polygon, another leading layer 2, music festivals, and large IP like Smurfs. Our business model involves premium subscriptions, transaction fees, and native advertising, and we're targeting a growing $8 billion market opportunity.
Your past time, so please wrap it up.
In terms of our ask, we're raising a 1.5 million pre-seed round. We're currently in an accelerator with Outlier Ventures and Polygon, and the use of those funds will be going to expanding our team and reaching 500,000 users and $1 million+ in revenue by 2024.
Thank you. Great presentation. All right. All right, Sharks, are you ready to meet this founder? Your questions.
What's the name of the actual platform again? I didn't quite extrapolate that.
It's Thea.
Can you spell it?
THEIA. It's named after the
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you raised any capital thus far?
So far, we've been bootstrapped and we raised 50,000 from our accelerator. They have the option to put another 50,000 at the end of the program.
Okay, and this 1.5 million, is it for straight equity, it's for common stock, or are you raising on a safe or convertible note?
We're raising through a safe and a token warrant.
Got it. And what's the minimum buy-in on the 1.5? So I'm sure you're going to parse the safe throughout different people.
The minimum buy-in for an institutional investor would be somewhere in the ballpark of 250,000.
So 250,000. Okay. And on what's the valuation cap?
10 million.
10 million. Interesting. Okay, so can you explain to me the ecosystem? So you have services like Alchemy, you have the marketplace OpenSea. Where do you guys sit inside of that ecosystem, and how do you play? Because Alchemy sits as the infrastructure layer. You have OpenSea; they sit as the trading layer. Where do you guys sit inside of that ecosystem?
We sit. We're basically competing with Discord and Telegram, where most of these communities are. So we're not directly competing with Alchemy or OpenSea. We will be transitioning from a pure social play into a social finance play, where we will have a social marketplace where people can buy, sell, and trade and mint NFTs on our platform. The long-term vision is to really make the user experience and flow for creating these communities as seamless as creating a group chat on WhatsApp. So the idea of turning these members that hold these NFTs and part of these communities into community creators themselves.
Interesting. And your revenue projections, can you mention those again?
Right. Because we have multiple monetization methods, our model predicts that we will reach 100 million plus in annual revenue by 2027.
No, the 2024 one that you mentioned. It was much less than that.
Right. 1 million plus revenue, but that's really conservative.
Got it. So today you're suggesting that the 1.5 million is going to be at a post-money valuation of about $10 million. So that means that it's going to convert. So the SAFE is going to convert over in the ballpark around 15%.
Yes.
Yeah. So the part that I'm attempting to understand, if you're projecting for your revenues to be $1 million plus in the next year and a half, if you will, maybe a year or a year and 6 months, you're suggesting that the SAFE today, before that time, should be valued at about 8.5 times revenues or projected revenues. How do you justify that?
We're an early stage growth company with a scalable model. Traditional SaaS, multipliers currently are somewhere in the ballpark of 10, maybe a little bit less given the current downturn. But I think a multiplier of 10 is reasonable for the state of company that we're currently at.
Yeah, so I would caution you from falling in love with the Y Combinator, the Gus, all of these communities with this, I call it the middle minutia of entrepreneurs, where you have a bunch of buzzwords, minimum viable product. The language of money is numbers. So when I'm asking you about justifying your multiple, you're going to give me a formula that justifies you actually getting to those revenues. One, I would tell you I'm highly interested in what you're doing. I love the logo. My wife is actually interested. So we would love to talk to you sooner than later. But as far as before I move it over, slide over to the other sharks and stop talking, when that question is asked of you, it's going to be, okay, here's the customer landscape. There are currently 100 million people. There's no way we can actually get to that. We probably can't even get to the smallest portion. So let's assume that we can reach 10,000 customers, and you can even go below that and say 1,000 customers. Any event that we can get 1,000 customers with X churn, because we have to consider churn, we believe that our sweet spot revenue is here. And if the month-over-month growth for the industry is 30%, we believe that we can at least get 7.5% of month-over-month growth. So with that conservative growth over the next 2 years, this is why we believe we can get to 1.1 million in revenues. Now, this isn't profitability, so we still will operate at a net revenue negative. But if with your investment, we can supercharge this 50%. You have to give an answer regarding the actual formula, not just saying what the industry says, because that's a bunch of crap. And when we get to talk to you, this is really quick. When we get to talk to you and break down the numbers, I have a lot of nerds that really love to go to the most minute level of these formulas. My wife is one of them. We want to understand. But beyond that, I love what you're doing, and I'm highly interested.
Thank you.
So we got one meeting with one shark, and we have 3 left. Dear investors, if you can shorten your questions, if that sometimes also would be great, but you're not limited, never. We have a lot of startups pitching. Now, what about you?
So I'm out because we don't really invest in this space, but good luck.
Okay.
Sure. I also wanted to mention I'm an immigrant founder, so your story and your wish to support immigrant founders really resonated with me. And also, I believe that there was supposed to be a person from Ghana's Ventures here, Ken Ma, but he isn't here. So his sort of community thesis would have been really, really good to sort of dive deep into.
All right, let's move on. And Sage and Dan, what about you guys?
We're not in this space, so I'm out as well. But it's intriguing.
Fantastic. Dan, you as well?
Well, typically this is not in our wheelhouse, but I'm interested in where this overlaps with Discord. And I'm just like looking at your product. It looks very well designed. It looks cool. And I sort of understand like this is it fair to say this is a specialized platform for NFTs? It's taking all of what Discord provides the NFT community and wrapping it up in a better container. Like, is that sort of directionally where you want to go with this?
I would say that we have the feature set that Discord provides for communities, but we also allow this cross-community engagement feature where NFT communities can communicate with other NFT communities. On Discord or on a group chat like Telegram, you are bounded by that group chat. You're bounded by that server. We wanted to break those boundaries and allow people to the whole NFT ecosystem to safely communicate with one another.
Right. With the eventual vision of sort of providing an all-in-one NFT platform, like as Duránd was sort of mentioning, like she's trying to understand where you sort of fit in the entire ecosystem. You want to sort of have the whole unified messaging platform plus what OpenSea is doing at some point during the future. So I think for you guys, I think the most important thing right now is to just demonstrate honestly like week over week growth in your user community, and to know, if you're growing it at like 10% week over week, that kind of velocity is a really good signal. I mean, I think you're probably early to monetize, and so it's good to have that as some vision in your back pocket. But at the end of the day, it's a community, so you just want to attract users as quickly as possible. I would be willing to have a additional conversation with you and dive a little bit deeper into it, though. So,
all right, 2 minutes, 2 meetings. Congrats, fantastic. All right,
and good job on having the guts to say you're competing against Discord and Telegram. Yeah. If you're going against those guys, you have to be able to look them in the eye and tell them, because they're not going to like if you build something great. But I really, really love what you're doing, and we're excited to talk to you soon.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think great signal that you're in Polygon. So yeah, would like to hear a little bit more of your experience and how that's advanced things for you.
Okay, let's move on to the next presenter. That would be just Gaurav Mehta. Just contacted me. He registered in the app, so he goes next. Gaurav, you ready?
Am I audible? Can you confirm?
Yes, you got 2 minutes.
Lovely. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on which time zone you are. Actually, we believe that English is one of the most spoken language after Chinese and Spanish. But when you look at the GitHub, there are more than 100 million developers. It seems like coding is going to be much bigger thing in the upcoming decade. Now, when we are developing the code, especially small teams or medium-sized team or someone who has outsourced their development tasks to the IT companies, they have a problem. The problem is that my coders have all the knowledge around coding the functionality or the code base. I tell them to create the documentation, but they just write a brief 2 lines, which is not enough for me to get the concept or the detail of the code. Now the problem arises if someone moves, or if I have to move from one IT company to another IT company, or problem becomes much larger when I'm trying to bring my new resources on board and try to explain them with the code. It's a mess. When we gone through this mess, we started using ChatGPT in order to explain us the code, and it was so amazing that our junior developers were able to deliver the work like senior developers. So we thought that why don't we do this process automation? So what we do is we allow people to create automated documentation. So if host can permit me, I'll show the demo directly so that it's all explainable.
All right, so you done?
Yes. No, I don't have a permission yet.
You cannot present slides. You have to finish.
Okay, never mind. So what we did is we built a product called CodeXplain. Man explain. Man have a habit of explaining everything. Likewise, our CodeXplain explains the code in excruciating detail. So for so that anybody is able to understand the code and get onto the development pipeline easily. What you have to do is you just have to connect the GitHub. Once you connect the GitHub, you have to identify which files. Maybe you don't want Gitignore, maybe you don't want Docker file to be explained. You just have to pick which file needs to be explained, and our system generates a code documentation in detail. So that's a brief pitch about us. Our pricing model works like this. We charge $499 for up to 30 files, and based on the custom requirement,
Your pastime, please wrap it up.
yes. So that's pretty much it. Our competitor is Mentally File, which is a Y Combinator incubator startup. They have recently raised $2.8 million. They are focusing on the consumer side of documentation. We are focusing on the internal side of documentation. We like to call ourselves as a code-based knowledge management. So to put it in simple words, we are AI-based, code-based knowledge management.
Thank you very much. Your microphone is a little hard. It's hard to hear you. Just be aware of it. All right. Yeah, Sharks?
Open to questions.
So Gara, are you guys suggesting that there's a problem with engineers creating software requirement documentations? So they may want to just code, but the product managers and the software architects, they need to actually see the code transcribed inside of this particular requirement documentation for the rest of the individuals that works inside the ecosystem alongside the engineers. Do I have that correct?
No, once your code is completed, the code contains a lot of knowledge. Maybe I have defined a function that injects a lot of other functions and try to do a lot of information. So when I look at the function, that function on an individual is not understandable to me unless I look at the whole ecosystem. So what we do is we take those code and we explain it in a very detail using the ChatGPT.
Got it. And who is this necessary for inside of the organization?
So this is useful for primarily junior developers onboarding, and it also helps senior developer in terms of recalling what the system has been. This is not for the large organization because they already have a Confluence and a very hardcore knowledge management system.
Yeah, smart. So really quick, what about on the corporate governance side? Where are you guys located? Where are you headquartered? And where's your corporation? Is it? Go ahead.
This is just a bootstrap company. This product idea came around 30 days ago. We had been building products. So far, we have 2 customers. So not here to raise money, just pitch and sharpen my skills and move forward with it. So
understood.
We are still figuring it out. Probably US is the best market. Delaware Corporation is what we look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, message me on LinkedIn. Let's talk, because what you're doing is definitely necessary. As you stated, I don't know where you are as far as turning it into a business, but it's necessary because my wife, she does that, exactly what you're talking about. So let's get some preliminary conversations going on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and so that it sounds like Confluence. Your wife just texted that. Okay. What about other sharks?
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued. I think there's a lot of different ways of coming at this problem. So I'd like to talk, but I do want to have a detailed conversation on the competition, and not just others that are doing the translation like this, but also what other tools are people leveraging to document their code.
Fantastic. So we have 2 sharks willing to connect with you. We'll do an intro by email.
Actually, 3. I'll have a meeting as well.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm response. I appreciate it.
Well, I don't want to be the odd one out, so I might as well talk to you. I don't want to be the jerk shark who says no. My comments would be like on the surface, Gaurav, that like what you're saying makes a ton of sense. Of course, it's all about execution, and I would suspect there are many people and players chasing this exact problem right now. There are a ton of emerging companies with GPT wrappers doing all kinds of things in this space. And then I think technically speaking, I can understand how maybe around a discrete set or unit of code that you might be able to explain what it does, but it doesn't necessarily solve the problem of how that discrete piece of code fits into the overall picture of an application or a larger design framework. And so that is kind of a piece that is maybe needs to be addressed with that as well. But yeah, on the surface, I think it's a great idea.
Sure, I'll be happy to explain you the context of it and what.
Yeah, you can do it. So you already got the jackpot. So congratulations with that.
Yeah, that's it. Don't say any more. Don't mess it up.
So congratulations. This is probably really jackpot for you. We will connect you by email. make sure, Gaurav, that I have your email. We'll do it after the event today or tomorrow. All right, and let's move to the next person. That would be one of our current subscribers, David Meads. You guys already, some of you heard his speech, so you can challenge him, but there are Eugene and maybe Dan didn't hear his speech. David, are you ready?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, you got 2 minutes.
Great. Hi, I'm David Mead, the CEO of Terra Bioforge. I sold my previous company, Lucigen, for $70 million, and at the dawn of my career, I invented this molecular tool that sold nearly $1 billion in product through Thermo Fisher. Terra Bioforge is a commercial stage company with a portfolio of genetic engineering technologies that allows us to manufacture microbial-based drugs at a fraction of the pharma costs. And we've done this over 100 times as a fee-for-service. So in plain English, we engineer bacteria and fungi to make more drug, more economical, saving as much as $1 billion in cost of goods for certain drugs. We are looking to raise $2 million as seed round for commercial growth of 3 pipeline products at a $10 million valuation. And as I sort of alluded to, the go-to-market strategy is to reduce the production costs for several very expensive to make drugs, saving $1 billion per year. And we can license those savings for around $100 million per year. We have a group that will invest $500,000 once we have a lead investor. Really nice traction this quarter. We've booked a quarter million in business. We were just awarded a $300,000 SBIR grant from the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Disease. And we just had a paper that was published in Nature Cell Biology 3 weeks ago that caused another fungal drug discovery company to call us to talk about, nothing is set in stone, but to talk about a $1 to $2 million tableau-genomic project this year. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, David. And dear Sharks, your questions? Duránd, can I see your video?
So we're not really investing in this space, but I have a friendly fund that could be interested in something like that. They specifically focus on it. So if I can get connected to you, I'd
love to connect. I just sent my email and LinkedIn through the chat.
Yeah, I see it.
Thank you very much.
I will connect you by email, guys. Don't worry. So there is one meeting. So there is one shark ready for the meeting. Okay, move on.
You.
What about other sharks? You already have a meeting with Duránd from the past event. I know that. You already spoke. And Dan and Sage. What do you guys say? Okay, Sage is out. Dan?
Probably out, probably a little bit too much out of our wheelhouse and requires too much scientific understanding. I mean, it certainly sounds very interesting what you're working on, though. So good luck.
Fantastic. All right. So we have one Sharks in and Thea out. David, I will connect you. That was a very efficient and fast speech, and you got one meeting. Great for you. Thank you. Please.
More of an intro to someone else, but yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, David. And we're moving on. And the next would be Jason Parnas. He registered in the app, so he has the priority to pitch. Jason, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you got 2 minutes. Go for it.
Sharks, thank you so much for having me. Danil, thank you for setting this up. My name is Jason Parnas. I'm here to speak about my stealth migraine medical device startup, Rayforma. Rayforma is looking to be the first step in any migraine patient's journey to getting cured, and for many will be the last. In just 1 to 5 easy treatments, we can provide decades-long relief using a reimagined predicate. We're reimagining a predicate device that helped me overcome migraines over 20 years ago. It was prescription use only. I have a jumbo patent pending right now with over 40 designs, which I sourced from design firms during a design competition over the summer. And I have a winning design that's going to make the process way easier. So we'll be able to sell it over the counter. We'll also be the most affordable product on the market at $250 compared to some of our competitors. Huge market size, 39 million migraine patients in the US, 1 billion worldwide. I also have a biomarker, a physiological biomarker that I can demonstrate on the call today. If there's any migraine patients in the room that want to throw themselves to the wolves and be a test subject, it just involves touching a certain part of your body. Not going to disclose it at this time. And my ask is $1 million. I already have $200,000 in guarantees, and I just need $800,000 more to produce a ready-to-sell device. Other things worth mentioning, I did rapid prototype my patent pending improvement, and it's been very effective. And I have a team ready to go. We're excited. I also have an IRB study that shows that I'm not the only one who was cured from this treatment. Many other people as well were as well. In fact, 50% of patients after just 1 to 5 37-minute treatments went over 3+ years without a migraine or a headache. If you get tension type headaches, pregnancy migraines, barometric pressure headaches, menstrual migraines, episodic migraines, there's ocular migraines, vascular migraines, post-traumatic headaches from soldiers, NFL players. All of those are right in our wheelhouse. We think we're going to be very successful in helping them. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've personally experienced it, and can't wait to help millions of people around the world with their migraine problems. And I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, organizing this kind of event, I sometimes have a migraine, so I might become a customer.
We could test the biomarker, Danil, right now. If you are a regular headache person, look, a lot of high-profile professionals that have a lot of pressure on them, they get tension-type headaches, and I can prove right now on this call that we know what we're talking about. Especially if you've seen a few doctors, it's going to be even more compelling.
Thank you.
Hey, Jason, did you guys file for FDA approval?
So the predicate device is FDA approved. We're going to go for substantial equivalence. But I will say this, after the 2016 Cures Act, the device is considered to be so safe that we're actually FDA cleared. We have, the term is escaping me right now, but we're 510K exempt right now. I'm still raising money as if I have to go through the substantial equivalence process with the FDA, just to be precautious, and we can use that for marketing and have a lot of fun curing people's migraine if we don't need to go through the FDA process.
And are you filing for the insurance medical number?
Ooh, that is the golden goose for sure. That's the whole business. Is insurance companies should love us because we're going to be a one-time cost to patients. I do have a recurring revenue product already in mind for my investors. I'm not going to disclose that today because it's a really good niche market. But the insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, that is.
But have you filed for classification?
Not yet, because it's a stealth project at this point, just because I feel as if we're sitting on a gold mine and we can't afford a shovel. So I'm trying to be a little cagey at this time, but as soon as the capital comes in, these are top line items that we're going to attack.
Got it. And then
we have team plans for this as well. Like I have my team set up to make sure that we can tackle some of these issues.
And for using your device, do you use it when the headache starts, or what's the?
Great question. So the magic of the device is we have a clinical trial that shows we're more effective at treating a migraine in the moment than even triptans like Imitrex. But the true underlying magic in the device is that you can use it if you have a migraine or if you don't. Just
interesting.
And it will.
Yeah, my wife has lots of migraines.
So. You have lots of migraines.
No, my wife does.
You, Mr. M, I apologize because your last name is cut off. I'll just say this. If you want proof in an investment, I have the proof. There are 4 predicate devices in the world. I own all of them, or have an NDA non-compete. My team, it's either me or my team who owns these devices. So there's no other device on the market doing what we're doing. They're not even going after the same treatment area that we're attacking. But what I can do for you especially is help your wife in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. I believe after the first treatment, she'll see a significant reduction in her pain, especially if she's an episodic migraine sufferer. With chronic migraine, I've already seen people be incredibly helped in terms of pain levels, but and I instant relief for weeks to months. I've very good testimonials on both, but just to really show how magical this device is, I would love an episodic migraine person because we've seen people never get a migraine again. I just treated a pregnant woman over a year ago, and with a doctor on my staff, and she has not had a migraine in over a year. She was a lifelong migraine sufferer, and best of all, she delivered a beautiful baby girl. Pregnant women are susceptible to migraines, and there's very few, if any, solutions on the market available to them.
So on the capital use, you're raising $1 million. what is the million going to be used for?
Sure. So I have a quote from my device design competition. It's about 400 to, I'll say 400 to $500,000. It's essentially 406,150, but I do have some other costs built in there. To get an FDA ready to sell device, I'm going to continue my patent work. I have $80,000 accounted for that. I'm going to make sure I have a quality management system, design history file, design molds, and a small initial commercial marketing effort, which I do have a guy from Novartis. He's a 7-time President's Cup winner there. And he did it in a grassroots fashion. So again, we're going to use a little bit of that initial capital to try to push that grassroots movement. We think our grassroots approach will be extremely successful given our lackluster competition.
And what's the milestone with that capital that you tried to achieve to? Because that's not a lot of money. I mean, it's
Correct.
not
Ready to sell device is our only real goal, just so we can have something, hold something that I could take to, for example, could be your wife or anyone else in the world and say, here's what I'm selling. Because right now I have a rapid prototype. I can use it. I have used it, but it's going to be, again, the reason why we need an improved version of this device is because the predicate is so archaic. And what our device does is just makes it such a sleeker, it truly makes it a practical solution. Whereas before you could just move your hand ever so slightly and the treatment might not be effective. Whereas we make sure that the treatment is applied correctly, even without doctor supervision. It's going to be way easier to apply.
Jason, please keep
so it's just pressure points, right? It's doing the pressure points in certain places.
It's very similar. So it is we're trying to constrict nerves, and there is a pressure point that I can identify. If you want to meet with me after, Eugene, I'd greatly appreciate it. I could share with your wife over a Zoom call. I could say, hey, touch this part of your body. It's not here, but it's close. And I'll say 0 to 3, how sensitive is. Now touch the other side. Usually people have laterality with their pain symptoms. So if they have pain from their migraine on this side, their pressure point will be inflamed. All we're doing is truthfully treating inflammation that's genetically caused. And I have a biomarker to show that once the treatment is kind of done its job, you should probably stop using our device, and you are going to have less migraine, and that will be evident as well.
So Danil, you can sign me up to try it out and see on a live test subject.
I was a test subject. I'm living at home, as every good entrepreneur would do, as they're bootstrapping their business. My mom was getting rainy day headaches. This worked on her. This worked on my friend's wife who has pregnancy migraines. And again, just because we need a broader scope, we did do an IRB study and a survey, and we showed that it worked on a very broad population of past patients. Sorry, Daniel, I know I'm running over.
Yeah. Please be sure. So one of the great strategies is to actually turn your investors into customers. That would be maybe the best investment you can get. And I probably can become your customer. Duránd?
You got a meeting, Danielle.
Yeah, so my wife and I, we were chatting back and forth in real time. She has to keep our baby girl, so she doesn't have a lot of time to come on screen. And I was attempting to understand exactly, she mentioned that it would have been nice for you to have the device in the background so we can actually see the device or some type of prototype of it for that matter. But you mentioned as far as the headache. Now, I don't want to dive too much on the science side of things. We could talk about that offline. But so I do want to understand the business. But have you talked to any radiologists? And how do you really quantify if it's something that's worse than the actual migraine or headache? If someone's possibly suffering from some form of early signs of brain tumor, like how does your device really understand these different elements scientifically?
Great questions. Our device is going to be so safe and so affordable. We just intend to be the first step in a patient's migraine solution journey. And that's also why insurance companies are going to love us too, because we'll save them cost. So we cannot identify a brain tumor. The brain tumor may be causing more pain than we can potentially help with. But I'll say this, if our device doesn't work, it's probably indicative of an underlying issue that needs to be treated by that next level, which then would be a neurologist or maybe Imitrex or those kinds of more toxic solutions, toxic from a financial or a personal health perspective.
Got it. So why aren't you positioning it as some early form of pain reliever? Because when I'm listening to you, it sounds as if you figured out some medical device whereby there's technology inside, maybe some high profile AI, whereby I can place it on my head and it's going to be able to measure my left and right hemisphere and really know what's going on with me, opposed to saying, hey, we know people don't like to take medication. We know people don't like pills. They don't understand this stuff from Rite Aid or CVS. So we have a device that's a short-term pain reliever, but we're not saying that we understand if something's going on with you biologically. So in no way you should stop seeing your doctors. In no way you should not go and see your radiologist. There's no way you should not go and see your neurologist. So we just want to have a better solution for people that don't like to intake medication from these pharmaceutical companies. So maybe the pitch needs to be in that type of capacity, because when you were talking initially, I thought you figured out something that the radiologists haven't even figured out. And now you have this device that you can sell to these hospitals or these medical organizations because you figured out the secret sauce to help humanity, which in some case you can still have that, but the pitch needs to really reflect that in the message, especially when you're operating in the medical field.
I appreciate that comment so much. So when I'm pitching to investors, I have to tell them of how amazing our device is because they need to know. But when I'm going through the FDA process, I don't want them to try to slow me up and say, hey, we found someone with a brain tumor and they're still getting some, headaches, maybe not as bad as they were, but they're still getting headaches. So and also that's going to help us with making sure that we're allowed, if we have to go through the FDA, that they're going to allow us to tell patients to use the product even when they don't have a migraine, because again, that's part of that magic. So we will advertise to the public as we're going to help you bring down the pain. You're going to increase your pain tolerance, bring down the pain levels that you're experiencing from your migraine headaches. But for the sake of pitching a room of investors, I have to tell you guys just how amazing of a preventative measure this device is decades into the future. So I originally did 1 to 5 treatments, decades long relief.
So contrary to popular belief, one, my wife, she messaged me that she's interested in talking to you. So we will be interested. I'll just say this really quickly. You don't have to pitch like that to investors, because outside of listen, we're human beings. Like in society, we classify ourselves as different things. I play 3 instruments. I'm a musician as well. But at the end of the day, I love knowledge. I'm an educator. I love science much more than I do venture capital. And I learned about science before I learned about venture capital. So when you're talking to me, I'm a science nut. So I'm going to listen like, well, wait a minute. I didn't read 700 books on neurology. And they're like, what is he talking about? Because now you're talking about, you're dealing with my hypothalamus. Like, you're going to tell me that my physique is going to change. So no, just have the same pitch, especially with medical, because if you start selling too much, then it sounds like a multi-level marketing type of device. Just say exactly, simplify the pitch. Hey, we have pain reliever for the people that don't like to intake medication. It's another solution. Now, we're not making any promises if you have any underlying biological issues. So you should always see your doctors. And then let us ask questions like, okay, how good is this thing? And then go into that big sales pitch after. But don't start with that, because I was completely tuned out when you were doing that. But because my wife is messaging me, she brought me back here to actually ask you a question. But you lost me with that type of pitch, actually, contrary to what you believe. So we're interested in talking to you.
All right. So 2 Sharks and 2 Sharks are thinking. Are you guys in or out with this project?
Let me say one thing to Sage. 3 to 1 women suffer from migraine, 3 to 1 versus men. Don't forget that. So I really need more women on my team in some capacity. And a female investor would be amazing, but I know you have your certain profile. I'll leave it at that.
I will say you're a great seller, but not in our space.
Thank you so much. Kind words.
This too would not fall into our wheel space. We don't do medical devices. It's just, obviously you had to be very careful, with a device that's not yet FDA approved about making any substantial claims. I'm sure I don't have to tell you this. So any statements around treatments or cure is going to get you into trouble. You have to walk a fine line, as I'm sure using terms like relief, improve, until you get to the point where it's medically certified. The only other question, just as maybe for the benefit of my other sharks, is maybe explaining the exit model for this. Like if it's a product that you actually intend to bring to market and sell to consumers, or if it becomes an acquisition play once you reach the FDA stage gate just to be acquired. So maybe I know we've taken a lot of time on this one, so that we could take that one offline. But for myself, I'm out. Thanks.
Feels like time is flying by for me, at least. I'll just say that the device we can pay back initially on a device per device basis, because the margins are actually exceptional even with our low cost, and with a little bit of interest on top of that. Medtronic, Pfizer just purchased Nurtec for $11.6 billion. Eli Lilly, AbbVie, all of the major players are already in this space. When they see us take a big crack at it, I think they're going to be excited to get in. And to your point about the FDA approval, the predicate device is FDA approved, which is very important. So we have a predicate. All we're getting is substantial equivalence, which per my attorneys, we can advertise that it is a treatment for migraine at this time.
Right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Dear, dear founders, please be concise. I'm trying to give everyone a word, but you're all amazing. And thank you so much for, you're a great sales guy. And the presentation was amazing. So good luck with your race. And the next person will go is Stacy Pavlova, the company Shimani. Stacy, are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Danil. Good evening to everybody. Greetings from Sofia, Bulgaria. I have been working in the cosmetics industry for 17 years, and 3 years ago I left my corporate career and started my own skincare brand, Shimani. Shimani is anti-aging cosmetics. It develops very well, but my dream has always been to develop a good anti-acne brand. Because acne is an awful problem. As a teenager, I suffered myself from awful acne and was bullied at school. And during this time, there were no preparations on the market to help acne. So we are proud that now we developed the first anti-acne product from the whole series. It's called Shoot the Pimple Local Anti-Acne Corrector. It is the first product of a whole series. We'll have lotion, hydrating cream, food supplement, and toner. What is innovative? It contains local Bulgarian ingredients plus some patented ingredients. Our communication strategy will be totally different. It will be funny. We'll run away from the apothecary image because we want to address the Gen Zs. To Gen Zs, we need to speak to a specific language so they can accept the product and like it. The global anti-acne market is like $2.8 billion yearly. And you know that about 60% of the population aged between 15 and 25 years are suffering from acne, so the potential is really huge. At the moment, like 10% of the global population is suffering from acne. These are all official data. I already got the seed investment of 25,000 euro for this anti-acne series, but it's enough only for the production and the formulation. And I want to scale it globally because I have the expertise, global.
Your past time, please wrap it up.
Sorry?
Your past time, please wrap it up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. It doesn't sound like a venture scalable model, but you guys decide whether it's worth your time to discuss. Okay, dear investors, do you have any questions?
I mean, we don't do D2C. I mean, the name is great. It's catchy of the product.
Okay.
I'd probably echo the same thing.
Okay, Sage is out. Dan and Duránd, are you guys in and out?
Similarly, we mostly invest in software and highly scalable things like that. I'm actually on your website. That looks really sharp. So I think it do very well, but it's just not in our investing wheelhouse. So good luck.
Thank you.
Duránd?
So we have a division in our firm, my wife and I, which I coined this term. We refer to it as cosmesthetics. so cosmetics and aesthetics together, which is quite different from the beauty industry. And we have a large background in this space. My wife actually went to school for this particular area. So she's interested. She says she don't like your Instagram, so something's off about it. So she'll talk to you about that. But she's definitely interested in talking to you offline. So there you go.
Right,
something about it that she likes.
The
Great,
Sharks
thank
are
you.
one in. I will connect you by email. Let's move on to the next person.
And why do you think it's very scalable? Hero Cosmetics was sold for $634 million to Church and Wyatt. It's a anti-acne brand.
We gotta move on. Thank you for your question. Just you already achieved your result, and we will connect you by email. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next person would be Alex Karbakov. Alex, are you ready?
Yeah, let's try. To be honest, I haven't prepared, but and a little sick. But
if you are not prepared, we can give time to somebody else. But
I think it will go fine. Yes. Well, I'm Alex. 6 years fintech, building my own health tech company called Victa. This Monday we got one product of the day and product hunt and go into product of the week. Right now, what we do, we trying to disrupt fitness market. We are increasing statistically significant increasing retention in running for now. So we are embedding gamification series into running app, and then proceeding into other health tech domains. We aim a $5 billion market and offer seed round 3 million for 10%, and expecting X20 at minimum at 3-4 years for investor. In a nutshell. So we already closed angel round, and what we have now, we did only having 100K angel round and 6 month part-time working engineers.
All right, thank you so much. Great presentation, very quick and to the point. Any questions, Sharks?
Let me add some one little thing. What we actually do, we're trying to repeat what Duolingo did in EdTech, but the same in fitness and health tech.
So one thing I would recommend is with just about any pitch that we're seeing here, try to set it up that you're solving some kind of problem, that you've identified some kind of market opportunity and there's a gap, there's some service or product that is not being provided that people want, and in comes Victa, and you're going to solve that problem. And like while you were talking, I pulled up your website, but I really needed the website to kind of clarify what it is that you're doing. And to me, it kind of looks like Strava, but for running. And I'm, I don't want to put words in your mouth or make any predisposed ideas about what exactly you do. But I didn't get a good sense for the problem you're trying to solve, who the product's for, or what it is you're doing. So I think you need to maybe clarify that.
Sure. Yeah. What we're trying to do, we are trying to help users achieve their fitness goals and become healthier in the first place. And we're doing that by increasing sticky factor. We're relying on several scientific approaches like anchoring effect, pseudo-set training, and compulsion loop. We're trying to compensate each training session with enough endorphin to make users easier proceed further and repeat this cycle with running at the current stage and achieve their like fitness goals. There might be several goals. It doesn't actually matter, but we're trying to increase stickiness and maintain and support clients better than Strava, Adidas, Nike, and others do. And we started from running and fitness because it's just the biggest market among other health tech domains. And yeah, it kind of makes sense from our side.
So I guess the feedback I would give when you think about Nike Run Club and Strava, right? Both fitness running apps, right? They have other things too, but that's basically what they do. Nike was first, I believe. Strava innovated by creating the competition and the idea of local legend and all these other pieces in it. And that's what led Strava to. So the endorphins and the science, I'm interested. I'd probably want to hear some more metrics about that. But if there's something else that you're adding, maybe it's like Strava already did the competition piece, but maybe you get like a team and you can do team, like something else, that's more what I want to hear for the opportunity or the problem of like, look, we've learned this much, but there's this next step that we're missing that could really open up the market. Otherwise, you're in a really crowded space, and you will totally get users because there's a certain amount of users that just go to most apps and try things out, but you won't gain market control without having that next piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think, and that's why we kind of stand out among all of them, because we were focused mostly on gamification and this character-based approach replica started from, if you're acquainted with this app. And we're creating this stickiness with the character, and we are like telling a great story, like another universe and some like events happening there. And we're trying to like create this another layer of purpose for each our user. Not just, okay, you have like this start and stop button, this metrics, data, pace, speed, and like other boring stuff and your graphs. We are mixing it. We are trying to balance game and running, game. Like spend your time on your
I think maybe it sounds a little bit like the video game like took off, right? Because it was interactive and people could see the characters and stuff like that. Video games are super popular. I think maybe what I would encourage you to do is think about some of the other markets that you're tangentially touching, and basically what is it fair to say you're creating like a video game for running or something like that?
Not actually. We like if Pokemon Go managed to get people outside, why can't we do, but not on walking, but on running?
Yeah.
Why can't we engage in more like deeper, further, jobs you need to do around your health, actually? Why can we simultaneously provide graphs, analytics, insights, embed an NLP chatbot, and vectorize it to speak about your health and teach you how to care about yourself and how to run, actually? Why can't it be game but built around the Strava? Why can't we embed Netflix in Strava? Why can't we compensate each session? Because we see their rodent retention. We see that it's kind of low. We can increase it because it increases it like times. Let's make it fun. Actually, let's make your health fun.
So there are a bunch of companies that have tried this. In your case, I'm not sure who is the target age group, because it's like, I mean, right now it looks like very anime style in terms of your characters, which is a small subset of population that do running and like anime, I think. So just curious how you're looking at this.
Sure, great question. The answer is that we start from intersection of this anime fans and runners, and there are, as far as I understand right now, 20-30 years anime fans / runners, like runners, novice runners and runners amateurs. But when we have resources, we will simultaneously create several styles and a version without maybe like all gamification on this colorful stuff. Just a boring Strava approach to like be able to target several markets and avoid this intersection restriction. We actually I need to like fuse of gamers, anime fans, runners. We're going to provide entertainment for all of them and value for all of them.
Can you talk about your DAUs? How many daily active users you have? How many monthly active users you have? What's the churn rate? You know, all of the new shows.
Yeah, also good question. So we haven't even started marketing yet, but we have 2.5 already K clients, and all of them we get via organically via articles. We published article 1st of February, and it got super viral on kind of Russian Medium. It got in top 3 popular, and we got 1,500 clients per 2 days. They showed like statistically significant 7-day retention, like 14%. It's kind of manageable and scalable. And we're just proceeding getting new clients after new articles and like this product of the day, product of the week win. And what we need also money for is to apply them into paid performance marketing. But I mostly believe in unpaid marketing long term, because we need to decrease CAC into like 50 cents, even less maybe.
What?
Performance.
Okay. So are you guys building original games?
It doesn't have like a game loop inside. It's basically a series plus several gamification features. Like we have like items spread around on the map, and you can just build your like running track through them to pick them up. You can like change appearance of your character. You can look on series he goes through.
Pokemon Go style.
Yeah. Do I want?
Kind of.
Okay, so I have a character inside of your app. Can I extrapolate that character and take it inside of Snapchat or another platform? Is the character stuck in the Victor app?
What do you mean by extrapolate? We have Telegram stickers.
Can you take the character out into like a Snapchat or others? That's what your question is, right?
Yes.
If I got it correctly, yes. Maybe I'm not.
Okay. If I design a character in your app, I open Snapchat, I go into the Snapchat map. Can I take my character from your app and utilize it in Snapchat's map?
No.
Okay. First of all, we have pre-designed characters.
Yeah, we have 4 characters you can choose from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
yeah. So
can I pause you for a few seconds? I'm sorry about that. Sage gotta go, and she's asking me to let her go. So let's let Sage say a few final words, and we'll continue with this project. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry to drop. I'm getting asked to jump into a meeting right now, so unfortunately I do have to go. But
closing statement.
This is a very intriguing idea, and thank you to everyone that presented today. It's fun to see all the innovations in all of the sectors, and the ones that are relevant to us. I'm very excited to meet you soon and connect with you soon, and the ones that aren't, thank you for sharing anyway. It's really fun to see how the world is changing. So.
And the final question to you: are you in or out with this project?
I'm probably out of this one. I don't really do B2C, but cool idea. And I think, there's a lot of technologies that have done similar things that have seen spikes. And so, it's exciting.
Thank you so much. We'll see you on our other events. And there will be also a few women investors, Sharks, soon. So Sage will be one of the Sharks being in there. All right, Sage.
And I believe we have another member from our firm that's going to be on that one as well. So yeah, looking forward to whoever's able to make it to that.
And Duránd's wife as well will join as well. All right, so
I'm even more excited for that. Thank you so much.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye, Sage. Good luck. Thank you.
So one of the other issues that you're gonna have is your CAC. I don't think you can get to 50 cents in consumer.
Yes.
For this market, I think it's gonna cost you, if you're gonna acquire users in the US, it's gonna cost you between 10 and 20 bucks per user minimum. It can get up to 50 to 100 bucks depending on as you scale. It's gonna get harder. So I'm at a consumer market. I mean, we're spending about 6 million a month just on marketing. So
yeah. I can comment that I mostly rely on unpaid channels long term. We see how the share between percent between paid and unpaid channels and paid acquisition in terms of leads among our competitors shifting during their lifetime, and we are aiming to achieve 70-80% unpaid leads after a year or two, and by that decrease CAC to 50 cents. And we built like several approaches in our product which will contribute to this number. We have like boost, like special bonuses for runners who will run together. It will mirror their gamification process, like provide them bonuses, etc., rare artifacts. So we will try to increase virality via product itself.
Sure. And what's the LTV on the user for right now?
Our current calculations, we have quite profound model. almost I can Shane. We expect $3.6 approximately.
Okay. And what's the subscription right now for per month on this?
Also, we have several different forecasts. We aim to $50, maybe $60 per year, and $10 per month. And we can we are going to A/B test the length of their longest subscription to 9 months, maybe 6 months. It might be how to say that. Got by our clients good, well, with no decreasing XOT and NPS.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm out.
Okay, so 2 sharks out. We have Dan and Duránd. Are you guys in or out?
Yeah, so Alex, I'm on the app now and I'm kind of hung. I'm stuck on one screen. It's not working. It allowed me to sign up, but it's frozen on one screen. The thing I'll say is this: I didn't even realize you had an app. So the beginning of the pitch was kind of complicated. And I'll also say this to any other founders internationally that where English may not be their first language. I don't think that that's a proxy to utilize for the lack of really structuring your pitch correctly. Because I got to tell you, you guys' English is good enough for me to understand it. And I have a lot of friends from down south that was born in the South in America, and they sound different from me. So I don't want that. I don't want that to be the excuse for entrepreneurs. It would have been nice for you to start off saying, "Hey, we built a fitness running app. This is how we do it differently." And this is what my fellow shark was communicating with you all about, really positioning your pitch, because I had no idea it was an app. And Sage came in and saved the day. And I said, "Oh, it's an app." And I went to the app store and I downloaded your app. I said, "Oh, the app looks kind of cool." So I'm interested now because it looks cool, but I had no idea you had an app. That needs to go on the front of your pitch. We built an app. Pause for a second and then explain the rest of the stuff. So now we already understand, like, okay, now the next question is it B2C? Is it B2B? So it's really hard for me to give you an unbiased opinion regarding if I'm in or out. So for that, I'm going to take a meeting with you to learn more about it, because you didn't really have my attention in the beginning. But because Sage helped you out, and now I know it's an app, and I invest in these things, I'm at least interested in talking to you again. So you have Sage to thank for that.
Congrats. So you got a meeting with 1 shark, 2 out, and we have Dan left.
Yeah, I don't want to be too repetitious because Duránd made this point very well, but definitely let's go for everyone, just as general feedback. You know, you're in this really short format where you only have 1 minute to make an impression. So you got to be really crystal clear. Because like Alex, I think he like way undersold what you're working on. He made it sound like you're working on a very like ordinary running app that could be confused with a million other running apps that are out there. But you know what you have is actually like very different looking. But it took me, you know, offline here to like Google it and like come up with your product hunt page and see the images to really understand that you have something that's kind of interesting looking. So make sure that you're always addressing like what is the problem that you're solving. Maybe it's for you. People don't like to get motivated to running. Running kind of sucks. And then number 2, the results that you get, people that use our app, they are way 100% more effective of getting off the couch and getting running and get better results. Number 3, what makes you special? It's like we have gamified the process of running to make it fun and interesting. And number 4, the kind of traction that you have. You could say, you know, we were number 1 app on Product Hunt. We have 1,100 upvotes. We have 2,000 users, whatever it is. But that's all you need to do to create a really good first impression so that we get interested to ask more. So I personally think this space is really crowded. Like for me, it's probably not my wheelhouse where I'd like to invest. So I'd be out for that reason. But I do think that you have something that's kind of different here. So
it seems like you're joining his marketing team, though.
And I kind of mean that like feedback is like just generically to all the founders out there, like try to hit on those points because that's the best. And then with respect to keeping, like make sure you keep those answers really condensed. Like if your answer is any more than 10 seconds, it becomes rambly. And it's just more important to be concise and snappy with your answers. Anything else betrays that you have a lack of understanding in your own startup. So yeah, keep your answers short.
Thank you so much.
And Dan, that's a great point, because that's what excited me when I looked at it. I said, this looks pretty cool. I have no idea what the hell it is, but it looks cool. But I had no idea what he was doing when he started out. And being that it's already time for us to come to a close, I'll just add this other point in. Don't say if Pokemon could do, then we should be able to. That's great internally when you're talking to the team to really motivate them. But the reality of it is, like, Pokemon is part of another big organization. They've been around 24 years. They've already generated $200 billion in yen. It's not that simple. Nothing in life ever is. Like, even walking is complicated. So the reality of it is, just keep it super simple, because we're not here to judge what we don't know. We're here to learn about what you're doing. And the best way to get us to learn, especially when we're just meeting you, is to keep it as super simple as possible. That's why I 100% sanction and agree with what Dan was saying. All right, Danil, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex.
One other for all the founders is know your numbers. If you have some traction on users, know how many users, know how long the users stay on your product, know like LTV, how much it costs you to acquire the user. Like, if you already have traction, you have to know these numbers and be prepared to answer them when we ask.
All right, thank you. So it's time to close and for the final statement from the investors. And you kind of already did, but maybe you say something else. All right, Alex, thank you so much for your presentation, and congrats with one meeting. So guys, what we achieved today is already amazing, because for the past 12 events and today 13th, we already have over 100 matches with investors and direct interest to them after your pitches. And now we generated 12 more matches and 12 more interest will go after this event. So congratulations to investors, congratulations to everyone. So I'm so proud for everyone who got a meeting. And almost everyone got today. I'm really excited. One guy got a jackpot, so that was fantastic. And so, small remarks before I let investors to close. It's very important that everyone who is here, you are on our app. So I posted some links in here. It's app.goglobal.world, where you can match with investors. Create your elevator pitch, 60-second elevator pitch in there. Create your stunning profiles, and so it will match you with the right investors. And investors already there, so you guys can match and connect and maybe get funded. So the next week event, this is a weekly show, right? The next week event is already out, and this is the link where you can RSVP if you want to pitch. And please give us feedback for what happened today. So help us make this event better, and we will listen to your feedback. And finally, there were a few people who didn't pitch today. It was Max Lidster, Sidhu Gadi, and Miranda Naminashvili. You guys can pitch next week. Just email us at info@goglobal.world or shout out next week right here in the chat, and I'll let you speak among the first. All right, so this is the moment when we close and give you final words of wisdom from the investors. So let's go one by one. Dan, what will be your final closing statement based on today's session?
Well, first of all, thank you everyone for coming, and to my fellow Sharks. I thought there was a lot of great insights, some really interesting pitches today. Entrepreneurs, stay the course, work hard, put in the hours, do the work. I would just say that, kind of respect some of the feedback that we provided around pitching, being able to communicate really succinctly the value of your startup and what you're doing and what makes you special is so important. Just think of this event as an opportunity to make a teaser for your startup. You're not trying to pitch the entire thing. Keep it short. Imagine this is the trailer to a movie that you want us to see, and treat it in that way. And also, just to go with like Eugene's comments about knowing your numbers, absolutely. If you're in the consumer space, know the metrics and numbers that are important in that space. You will be interrogated on those. So know your monthly active users, know your like D0, your D15, how like are people using and re-engaging with your app. Know those numbers cold and precisely. So it's not about 1,000 users, it's 865 users. You should know precise numbers. We want to see founders that are on top of the metrics that matter for their startup. That would be my thoughts.
Thank you so much. Great words, and we look forward to have you next events. Thank you, Dan. Very valuable feedback. And this video will be on YouTube soon, so you will be able to hear the feedback. So you don't lose this information. Okay, Eugene, you go next.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a great group of people, and I gotta congratulate all the people that actually had the guts to present in front of so many people. I mean, it's not easy. So congratulations on that. I think it's a journey. The current statistics for you to get funded, if you have a great pitch, is about 400 investors that you have to talk to. So you're gonna have to pitch a lot and train a lot. So this is a long journey. And after that is a huge journey of building the actual company. So I want to just wish everybody good luck. And there's a lot of great comments from all the investors here. So good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Eugene, and great to have you on our event. We'll be happy to see you next events, and your colleagues from One Way Ventures as well are invited. So absolutely excited to collaborate with you. Duránd, you're close.
Yeah, so nice meeting you, Dan and Eugene, and great feedback today as well. As far as the founders, in addition to the metrics that Dan spoke about, the finance as well. I'm a really big finance nut. I don't like the idea of a founder saying, hey, because Brian Chesky at Airbnb was able to sell Captain McCain's and raise $100 from Sand Hill Road, we should be able to do it as well. Because there are a lot of earned secrets that are connected to the ability for these founders to raise capital. A quick example would be when Adam D'Angelo decided that he wanted to place question and answers over on the layer on top of Google provided information. Yes, he was able to raise capital because he was the first CFO of Facebook. So that was inside of his network. To go to Mark Zuckerberg and get a crazy valuation, Mark isn't going to take 50% of his company. Hey, Mark, I need $10 million for 3%. Okay, here you go, buddy. But that's the exception, not the rule. That is the exception, not the rule. So I definitely would suggest to your entrepreneurs, don't wager on these stories that you hear from Silicon Valley, because they are all connected to a particular network. The idea is for you to start a new people network, what I called it. In addition to that, the number of things. Don't say I'm raising between 1.5 million and maybe 2.5 million, because that's a 60% difference. So I completely agree with Dan and Eugene on that. You have to be specific on exactly what you're raising. And the valuation should really represent a path to profitability. And that starts with showing us a trail of revenue that can justify the valuation. Because if you're telling me today to give you $1 million for 10% of the company, well, you're suggesting that you would be able to sell that company for $10 million. But well, guess what? If you sold for $10 million today, I wouldn't even break even because of taxes. I would actually lose on the money that I put inside of the company. So the story I actually want to see is, how do you justify the capital that's coming in today from one of us sharks here for the next round of funding? Can you make it to that next round of funding? A lot of pre-seed and seed startups don't make it to Series A, which means it's hard for those initial investors to materialize on their capital. So I really take your time, and I love that example that Dan gave as far as the trailer. So I'm going to borrow that, Dan. I'll make reference to you when I say it publicly. So that's what this is, 100%. Granted, you may get Eugene excited. He got excited because something that's connected to something his wife was suffering with, but Eugene still has to go through a process with the entrepreneur. It's a very long process before he writes a check with the entrepreneur. So come in here very succinctly, keep it straight to the point, and then you can get that next meeting, which is going to be an abundance of meetings after that. So that's the last thing, but great job. I love entrepreneurs. So keep going. To Dan's point, stay the course. And thanks to Danil.
Appreciate that. Dear investors, please make sure you're also on the app as investors. And most of the investors you have seen on our panel are already in the app, so you can match with them even after the event. So prepare your 60-second elevator pitch, upload to the app, and you will be able to convince your investors who are looking for you. And finally, please share your feedback. You already probably got the email with feedback requests. So share the feedback, join the app, and support us on social media. It's really important. It's really hard for us to promote it very widely, and every single repost support will definitely give us a huge difference, helping my team. Thank you everyone for your efforts. Thank you for your time, dear investors and founders. You made this day amazing. We've got 12 matches, so exciting, and look forward to see you all next week. Take care and goodbye.